Everyone. Um, it's been a while since I made a video, and that if you remember, my last video was that I mentioned I'm going to do a 30-day challenge. I think I haven't really been counting the days, but I think it's been 3 weeks that I planned the 30-day challenge, and that was to wake up at 7, be at my studio or at work by 9. I've been keeping it, and I've been taking cold showers to help me. Um, but to be honest, for the past 2 weeks, I guess, I've been kind of not feeling so connected and in tune with my truth, and felt annoyed and um, everything that we normally feel, anxious, everything that we normally feel and we're not aware of. So, and I realize that it's partly because I haven't done my main commitment, which is to write my pages. My number one commitment really is to stay connected to my truth. So it's really irrelevant if I succeed in any other way, if I haven't stuck to my truth and am suffering in the Buddhist sense. Really, when you're identified with worldly possessions and success and money or fame or likes, um, then you are usually suffering. So I've been doing the 30-day challenge. I've been waking up, doing my cold shower, and getting to my studio and going there, and it's been great. I feel good about that I managed to keep my commitment. But what I neglected was my main commitment, which is to stay connected with my inner self, with my inner God, and be at one with everything. So today I didn't go to my studio like I had planned, and I just decided, you know what, I need to write because it's been a while since I really sat and wrote. And if you are doing the morning pages, I have to say that don't just write until you feel like writing. Write beyond that, because I have been writing, but I stopped whenever I felt like, oh, I gotta go, or I don't have time, or okay, I'm done. But really, what the morning pages say is to write for 3 pages, regardless of what you have to say or you don't have to say. If you don't have anything to say, just write, I don't know what to say, I don't know what to say, I don't know what to say, until you overcome that block, because it's a block. For me, anyway. But as I was writing today, and before I started writing, I was watching a Russell Brand video, which I highly recommend, the True News. And he was talking about this guy who's an atheist. I shared it on my Facebook page, so if you're interested, just look it up. But it made me realize something. He mentioned that Jesus had said in the story that there was a prostitute and they were going to cast stones on this woman, Mary Magdalene, and Jesus said, let he who with no sin cast the first stone. And basically saying that we're all sinners, and who are we to judge, right? And I think that's a good way of looking at life. Of course, we need a judicial system in a society, but we also need to examine ourselves. That's what that says. Examine yourself. And that is, I think, the number one commitment. If we want world peace, if we really want it, it needs to start from examining ourselves in everyday lives, and being committed to transcending our suffering, always recognizing that we this world is suffering. And what that means is basically when you identify with it, when you identify with the worldly things, when you think that you as a teacher, as a mother, is the only you, but you are beyond that. You are something deeper within. So if you only identify with that part of you, you will have suffering, because one day your kids will grow up and they will move to their own places, and you might lose your job, and you might lose your possessions. And then who will you be if you don't have something deeper within you to connect with? That is why that's my number one commitment. I think it's the most important thing if we want transformation in this world, and we want to see a world that's better for the future. That if we actually want world peace, that's where it starts, not from out there, but from right here. So, also another thing that I wanted to mention, I know this video is going to be kind of long, but is that sometimes when I have these aha moments and I'm like, wow, I'm so like on top of the world. And then I get back to feeling drained and unfulfilled, and I'm suffering and I've lost it. I say I lost it. Oh my God, I've lost it. I'm back in this world of suffering and I'm not in my la la land. And I want to give up. I just want to be like, what's the point? What's the point of trying to keep up with this whole thing and trying to stay above it? And I just think, well, what's the alternative? What's the alternative? And so I rather try to keep my head above all of this and stay in my la la land. And that's why it's a commitment. I constantly have to generate it for myself. I have to plant the seed. It's a seed. By reading things that awaken you, watching movies that are awakening, then you plant this seed, and then you try to nurture it with everyday rituals that will help you get there until it hopefully gets strong enough to be a seedling. And then even then it's fragile, but at least it's a little bit rooted, so you can, even if you lose it, you can get back to it more easily. But even if you lose it completely, you can always plant another seed. It's just a matter of commitment. And I think that is the number one commitment in our lives, to be connected to our own truth, to the wholeness of life, to the oneness. And that will take you beyond the suffering of, and the suffering is from identifying to these things. It doesn't mean that these things aren't useful and that you shouldn't want to succeed and be a better teacher, mother, doctor, whatever you might identify yourself as. But it means to not just identify with that, to not think that that's the truth. That is not the truth. You're beyond that, because regardless of what happens to those things, you will exist. And you have to identify with something deeper inside to survive that if you lose those things, you will still survive, and to really be happy deep within, regardless of what you have or don't have on the outside. Don't forget to subscribe, okay? I see Russell Brand always saying this, and I think it's really awesome that he says that. Subscribe to my channel, okay? And share it, and like it, okay? That's how I know you are watching, and yeah.